Welcome to East Haddam Fire Department, Company 2, 44 William F. Palmer Road. I'm going to do a quick walk around outside and inside to show you the deficiencies in this building as it currently stands. Walking around from the front, right away you can see the panels are deteriorating, falling apart and rusting with insulation coming out. Moving down the building, similar condition where the panels are starting to rot away and deteriorate. Moving along to the back side of the building. This area has poor drainage. Whenever we get a heavy rain, this area is typically flooded. Backs up into the building, backs up onto the apparatus floor. This is the backside of Company. And finally back to the front of the building. As stated before, when the water backs up due to poor drainage, it typically comes in underneath the doors onto the apparatus floor. Now entering the employee entrance, backside of Company 2. Right when you walk in, you're greeted by the watch desk. This is where our firefighters do all their paperwork. There's no privacy here. There's no privacy for HIPAA potentially due to this area being open. This area is not ventilated. It's about 90 degrees in here right now. The only ventilation potentially are the ceiling fans, but the controller for the ceiling fan is right there. This area is also in the hot zone. So when these apparatus roll out on a call, all the exhaust fumes linger in this area. And this is where our firefighters have to do their paperwork. Continuing on the main bay floor, this is where we do our training. We do our training either between apparatus, or if the training drill calls for a larger space, we will have to pull an apparatus out of the bay and park it outside so we can do our training. We are doing it on the concrete floor. There is no adequate space in this building to do training. Now entering the first floor auxiliary rooms on Company 2. First, women's lavatory. As you can see, there is not much to it. There is no shower in this room. No place for our female firefighters to clean up after an incident. Moving down, we have the men's lavatory. There is a single shower for all the personnel. Their lockers are stored in here as well as storage. And that is the men's lavatory. Moving down to the kitchen. The kitchen, again, no ventilation, very poor drainage in the floor. As you can see, the daylight coming through this door. This door leads to the outside. Again, it is falling off its hinges. And this room is in the hot zone, right next to the apparatus. So there is no separation between the bay and the kitchen. As I said before, you can see light through the door as it is falling apart. And moving down to the last room, our day room. This is the only climate controlled room in the building via that portable AC/heater unit. This room doubles as our radio room and our copy room. This is very cramped. This is where the career staff, up to 4 firefighters, try to wind down in between calls during the day. Again, also in the hot zone, right next to the apparatus on the floor. We are now going to do a walk around of the bays at Company 2, starting with Bay 3. First of all, you have insulation falling off the side of the building. As you can see, daylight underneath the bay door. Because of this, if it rains heavily and the way that the apron is pitched incorrectly, water will back up onto the bay floor. First column between bays 3 and 4, as you can see, the structural deficiencies that are in the building. Moving on to the next column, we have the same conditions between bays 4 and 5, and then finally you go down to the last column, and again, same conditions as the first two. That is the inside front of Company 2. On the main floor of Company 2, when an engine is stationed here and it goes out for a call, the firefighter's gear that is stored right here, right next to the engine, gets all the exhaust from the engine leaving the bay. And that exhaust permeates this equipment and cannot be taken out. We're now entering the second floor of Company 2. Up here we have our offices. First we have our gym room. There is no ventilation in this room. The building is lacking insulation on the soffits. There is a vent right out into the bay. And all the equipment is outdated or does not work. Moving down the hallway, we're walking into the lieutenant's office. Very cramped space for 5 officers to work on. Duct in the ceiling. There is no privacy since the walls do not go all the way up to the ceiling. Hard to have any private conversation or disciplinary actions. Moving down the hallway, this is the EMS coordinator's office. Again, same issue with the wall not going all the way to the ceiling. Very cramped and tight quarters that we have all our training gear and extra first in bags stored in here. Moving down the hallway, you have an exit door. The only exit door off the second floor to the outside of the building. Coming back, this is the captain's office. Again, no ventilation, no privacy, very tight quarters for all the captains in the department. And finally, down at the end of the hallway, we have our gear room. This is where we store all our extra turnout gear, uniforms. This room, again, is not ventilated. There is insulation falling down from the roof. And that is the second floor of Company 2. That has been a quick tour of East Haddam Fire Department's Company 2. Thank you for watching.